listener production.
Hi, Natarsha Belling with you and welcome to the afternoon edition of The Briefing. Coming up in our deep dive, the exciting new breakthrough treatment helping people fall pregnant. Often when IVF fails or is not a viable solution, there are few options left. Now a fertility treatment called Platelet Rich Plasma is giving new hope to thousands of parents-to-be. Those details in just a moment. But first, let's check the afternoon headlines this Monday, the 24th of November. There are reports politicians and staff at Parliament House in Canberra have been advised to turn off their electronic devices during a visit by top Chinese officials today. The Guardian is reporting it's seen an email warning there may be intermittent disruptions to Wi-Fi access during the visit of the chairman of the National People's Congress of China. The email doesn't go into any detail why the advice was issued, but states, quote, the information is for parliamentarians, their staff and other building occupants only. Police have announced they will resume the search for missing 4-year-old Gus Lamont in outback South Australia almost 2 months after he disappeared from his family's property. Officers will now concentrate on a number of mine shafts which are uncovered up to 12 kilometres away from the homestead. In a statement, South Australian Police say their search teams were not previously made aware of the mine shafts and will explore every opportunity to try and locate Gus. The 4-year-old was last seen playing on his family's sheep station around 5 p.m. on the 27th of September. And Independent Senator David Pocock has introduced a new bill that could see Australians who share AI deepfakes created without consent sued or fined. Senator Pocock hopes the bill will strengthen protections for Australia and ensure basic safeguards are put in place.
Today I'm introducing a bill to the Senate that would ensure that Australians own their face, that Australians own their voice and their likeness. It should not just be whoever has the best software or the worst ethics to be able to deepfake someone and to use it on the internet.
It comes as the government's yet to announce its artificial intelligence policy after more than 2 years of consultation. Now it's time to get into our deep dive on PRP or Platelet Rich Plasma and how it's being used to help women fall pregnant. It's a breakthrough treatment that helps reactivate the ovarian function, giving women who struggle to conceive or suffer from multiple miscarriages a much better chance of having their longed-for baby. Joining us to explain exactly how PRP works is Dr Scott Pearce from Create Fertility. Dr Scott Pearce, thanks so much for joining us. Can I ask you from the outset, what is PRP?
PRP stands for Platelet Rich Plasma. So it's a process where we take a sample of someone's blood and spin it in a special medical high-speed centrifuge machine to separate the blood components into, in particular, we're after platelets, which are full of growth factors to use it for a medical purpose.
Now, I understand PRP has been used for other medical treatments, both here and overseas.
Yes.
But you're working at the cutting edge of it being used for fertility treatment. So can you explain how it can be beneficial in regards to the use of fertility treatment?
Yes, it's an exciting new development that we've been pioneering in Victoria, the use of PRP for fertility by injecting the blood product, the platelet-rich plasma, into a person's ovaries to try and rejuvenate the ovaries to enhance the effectiveness of fertility treatment.
So exactly what person would this be incredibly beneficial for? Is it someone that has a history of miscarriages, a history of fertility issues?
In particular, Natasha, people who have struggles falling pregnant, often with IVF, although it may help people who are trying to fall pregnant naturally. So the typical patient we see in our experience of doing this for 2 years at Create Fertility in Melbourne is patients who have tried other fertility treatments, in particular failed IVF. They may have undergone a number of IVF cycles. Some women have not many eggs left in their ovaries, so they may be looking at a very early menopause. And when they do IVF, maybe only obtain 1 or 2 eggs. Some people are near the end of their unfortunate reproductive life. So they may be, for example, mid-40s and really struggling to fall pregnant and might be a last ditch effort to try and fall pregnant and have a baby using their own eggs before they go on to using donor eggs.
So what results have you already seen using PRP, Scott?
We've had an amazing response. 15 to 20% of patients have fallen pregnant, and we've performed this for over 130 patients now. Some patients have fallen pregnant naturally. Some patients have had failed IVF treatments or other IVF cycles before and then have had the PRP and have fallen pregnant with this. So it's very exciting.
Years ago, there was almost a misconception that you could have IVF later in life, even if you left wanting to have a baby until your 40s or 50s. But that misinformation was really dangerous because it doesn't matter. You can't change the age of your eggs.
Correct. It's exactly right, Natasha. You can't change the age of your eggs. You're born with your eggs as a baby, and so the eggs are the same age as you. And as you get older, due to the natural aging process, the egg quality decreases, or you still may have good eggs in your ovaries, but less of them. So a lot of the eggs that were usable, for example, when you're 20, may not be usable when you're 40. So it is harder to get pregnant and fall pregnant as you get older. And IVF can't change that. Although the PRP may be an opportunity for some people, and we're still in the early stages of using it, but it may give some people the opportunity to fall pregnant using their own eggs.
Sometimes with a lot of treatments, there can be risks or problems associated. So far with your development with this, have you seen any issues for people using PRP?
It's a very safe process. It's actually taking someone's own blood and injecting that blood, the blood products, back into their own body. So we're not putting a chemical inside or a pharmaceutical drug. We're actually putting their own blood back in with the natural products. The actual PRP has been used for many, many years in orthopedics, in particular for joints and ligaments, because some parts of the body don't have much blood supply and don't heal very well, such as a knee ligament. If, say, a sports person has a strained hamstring, they may be out of playing sport for 3 weeks, but if they strain a knee ligament, it may take up to 12 months to heal. So areas like the ovary, especially if the ovary doesn't have many eggs left, the ovaries do get smaller and have less blood supply and less access to the natural nutrients in the body. So by doing the PRP, the hope is that it may rejuvenate the ovary and allow extra growth factors and blood vessel availability to allow access to eggs. And as you mentioned earlier, we can't make new eggs occur, but the eggs that are sitting there stored in the ovaries, hopefully we might be able to get access to them and use them to allow someone to fall pregnant.
It's such great news. Congratulations on your work so far, and thanks for joining us, Scott.
Thank you, Natasha.
Someone who has experienced great results from PRP is Emily, who had faced enormous challenges trying to fall pregnant. IVF, unfortunately, wasn't a viable option for Emily and her partner, and they had almost given up hope until they tried PRP. Emily, thanks for joining us. Tell us about your story. You had faced many fertility issues, correct?
Yes. Unfortunately, we had been trying for close to 3 years with a few different methods. Some of it we'd done IVF with other clinics, and we'd been given some pretty bad news that the only way forwards for us was using a donor egg. Because basically my ovaries just weren't cooperating with traditional IVF.
So this PRP worked quite well for you. Tell us what happened with that treatment for you.
Yeah, so in my case, they give you about 3 months after you've had the injection into your ovaries, and then you do another, like a normal round of IVF. When we had the ultrasound to check whether any eggs had grown, we were lucky enough that for the first time ever, we had an egg grow.
And tell us for you and your partner, if you've been through so much, what was that like?
That was massive, being able to see that egg, because we'd never gotten to the retrieval process. And to some people, one egg, that might not seem like much at all. But for us, hearing that we were going to actually get to go to an egg retrieval, it was huge. Yeah, we could not believe it.
And that first egg retrieval, unfortunately, didn't work out for you. But then you've gone through more treatment, and then there's been some great news. So tell us about that.
Yeah, so it was all still under the one lot of PRP. We got to do what they call a duo stim. So they just keep going on the injections after the one retrieval, with that egg being immature, unfortunately. From the next cycle, we managed to grow another egg, which was retrieved, and we were very, very lucky that this time it was mature and it made it to a day 5 embryo.
And then for you, with the day 5 embryo, then what happened after that?
Yeah, we tossed up. Do we keep trying to get more eggs, or what do we do from here? And in the end, we decided to transfer it. And we were incredibly lucky. I'm now 22 and a half weeks pregnant with that one embryo.
Oh, Emily, congratulations. How do you feel after such an incredibly challenging emotional and physical journey that you're here now pregnant with your little miracle?
It's incredibly surreal. I'm pinching myself. At least now I have a bit of a bump to prove it in the belly. Because it's been a massive journey, almost 3 years of negative pregnancy tests and things not going the way we'd hoped. So yeah, it's a miracle.
Oh, congratulations. So
Thank
were
you
you told by the medical experts that without PRP, the chance of you falling pregnant with your own eggs just wasn't possible?
Yeah, so a different clinic that we had done traditional IVF with, the specialist had told us the only way forwards will be with donor eggs. Unfortunately, basically anytime we'd do injections, my ovaries didn't want to play the game, and they would do the opposite and kind of shut down. So this PRP have an amazing GP that wasn't ready to give up just yet. And so she referred me to Dr. Pearce, and yeah, he basically said, look, we'll give this a go and see if it works. And we were just, one of the many miracles.
So Emily, for you personally, to be given such devastating news and then for this to turn around so incredibly quickly, and you're pregnant finally, a dream come true for you and your partner, what difference has it meant for you to have this other option?
Yeah, I mean, we did have a deposit on donor eggs, so we were ready to go down a different pathway if that was what it was going to take for us to start our family. I'm sure anyone that's struggled with fertility before can understand kind of feeling like you're at the end of the road, but it gave us hope and it gave us a chance to actually keep my genetics going, which was a big thing for me. I was quite devastated at the thought of not being able to have a baby that would have my genes as well. So yeah, it was to be able to have that hope and to continue on the journey was massive.
We are absolutely thrilled for you, Emily, and we wish you all the very best. Thanks for sharing your story.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
That was Emily, and earlier we heard from the Clinical Director of Create Fertility, Dr Scott Pearce. And that's it for this episode of the afternoon edition of The Briefing. We'll be back in your feed tomorrow morning with a deep dive on the closure of Menulog.
The big guys, when they get duopoly kind of opportunities, we'll take them with both hands. And if we are not careful, we will end up paying stupid prices for Uber Eats, for DoorDash, because they go, well, Menulog's gone now. What else do we need to do?
And we'd love you to subscribe or follow us on Instagram at The Briefing Podcast. I'm Natarsha Belling. Thanks for your company.